All right, this is the first lesson for students in game coding who cannot use Unity at home. So if you're on a Chromebook or if you've got a computer that just won't run Unity, this is a web-based Python programming that will teach you some coding, but it's sort of in a game-based format. So we'll be going through a few games and then getting you to modify them and so on. So the first week we won't get into it too much because I know it might be a little bit of a challenge and I want to make sure everybody sort of works this out. Now what we're going to use is an online editor. You can download stuff to code, but again, just to make things as simple as possible, we're going to use something called Ripple.it. Okay, Riplet, I'm not sure how you say it, but we're going to use this here. So I'm going to click on it, and basically what I would suggest you do is you sign up first, because you need to have, you want to save your code. But anyways, I'm going to just click on Start Coding, and I can choose the language that I want. And thankfully, Python is right at the top. You'll see that there's a bunch of other languages, which is pretty cool. But yeah, just choose Python there. And then create Ripple. Ripple created, and it will open it up here. Okay, and it shouldn't be any worry. You've got the latest version of Python here, and so then we can sort of just start coding. So the big idea with Python coding is just, it's just going to be sort of text-based, so it's pretty simple here. I'm just going to type in something, print. First thing that we'd want to do, and you can see it sort of coming up, helping you just like it would, excuse me, in Visual Studio. Hello world. That's what we usually do. The first one, simplest statement you can do in Python. So print obviously prints to the screen, and then hello world would be the text. It's the string that's there. So all I have to do is hit run, and over here, hopefully, it will print out. Oh, it's saving. Saved, and there it is. It printed it out. Hello world. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's the easiest thing. What we're going to work on is I guess the number game. Okay, and so in the end, what it will do is it will ask you what your name is. You can put it in, and then it sort of personalizes it by putting your name, and it's going to pick a number between 1 and 20, okay, and then you have to take a guess. And then it will run through a loop asking you to keep guessing until you get it right, okay? And there's going to be a certain number of guesses. It's going to keep track of the number of guesses. So in this case, it took 3 guesses. And then it's going to say if it was too high or too low to give you a little bit of a hint, okay? So really, we don't have to worry too much about that, but this is the code right here, okay? Basically, we're going to import random. This is just the idea of being able to use a different sort of, how do you say it, library that lets you pick random numbers. There's a counter here, so this is a variable called guesses taken. We don't have to define if it's an int or a string or whatever in Python. It will automatically figure out that it would be an integer. And there's a print statement, so hello, what is your name? This right here, my name, so it's a variable, and you're going to assign it with whatever the keyboard input is, okay? So it's going to put your name into that. And then that way we can use it to personalize the game. Number, so it is going to generate, again, this is a variable, it's going to generate using this random library that I just talked about up here by generating a random integer. So a number between 1 and 20, not a decimal number, an integer. So it picks that. That is going to be the number you're trying to guess. Print, well, and then here it is, your name, right? So it's taking whatever you typed in here. I'm thinking about a number between 1 and 20. And then it goes into basically the game loop. So for the number or the guesses taken, okay, so guesses taken was set to 0 in range 6. So this is a for loop. It will keep going over and over and over again. It's kind of like the update loop, okay? But it's going to go through it maximum of 6 times. So that's where that range is, okay? So basically it will do it 6 times. So print, take a guess, okay? Notice that there's a bit of an indent here. And that's because we have to put it inside this loop. Okay, in C#, right, we use those little curly braces. Here we use the indentation. The easiest way to do the indentation is by pressing the tab key on your keyboard, right, the key beside the Q. Okay, that will indent it. So there's a little bit of a print, guess, it's going to hold that guess. Now right here is an interesting little thing. When you do an input, it brings it in as a string. We don't want it as a string because that's like a character. We want it as a number. So right here, we're changing the guess into an int. And then that way we can compare it with a number. So that's what happens here. There's three little things. If the guess is less than the number, it will print out your guess is too low. Okay. If the guess is greater than the number, it says your guess is too high. And if the guess is equal to the number, it breaks. Okay. So that will sort of, jump out of the loop. So if you get it right, basically, it jumps out of the loop and comes down here. Now, each time it goes through, right, the guess is taken is going to increase. Okay. So just because it's in this loop, it's going to sort of increase the number on there. Okay, so that it will know how many guesses have been taken. So if there's two reasons you're going to break out of this loop. One is because you got it right, okay, or you've run out of guesses. Okay, so if you run out of guesses, then it will just automatically jump out of the loop if it's gone through it 6 times. So there's sort of two reasons you could have jumped out of the loop. Like I said, one is if you got it right, okay? So if the guess is equal to the number, which was the same thing here, then the guess's number is taken into a string. Now, they did guesses taken +1. And the reason is that right here, this value would have been 0 to start with, okay? So by default, in programming, when you start counting, 0 is what it starts with. So to make it a little bit nicer, we've added 1 there. So this would, if it took, 1 guess, instead of saying it took 0 guesses, it would take 0 + 1 and make that 1. Okay. Again, changing into a string so we can add it into this script here, or this print statement. So print, good job, goes back up to your name. You guessed it in, and it puts that guesses taken in there. Okay, so that's one option. The second option is if the guess does not equal the number, print, right, that, and then does that there. Okay, so it says that you've got the number wrong, or you didn't do it right, and then it tells you what the number was. Okay, so the rest of the explanation here goes through in more depth, just what I talked about, but hopefully that gives you a good idea of what's going on. So what I would like you to do this week, because I know this is completely new and it might create some more challenges, I would like you to just type this code in, okay? See if you can get it to work. Play around with it once you do get it to work. See, make it easier, make it harder. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week. But do spend some time reading through this just so that you get a better idea of how Python works. You've got a background in programming with Unity. In some ways this is easier because you're not dealing with the Unity engine, you're just dealing with the code. It's a little bit more difficult because you are just dealing with the code. But you should be able to get it to work there. Okay. Any questions? Put them in the, make sure you ask me, put them in that discussion channel that I've made for the non-Unity programming, and let me know. I know this is a new thing. It's new to me too in a certain way, teaching it this way. So there might be a few little problems. So yeah, once you're done Repla, if you've done you've programmed it, the game's working, there should be a share button there. And let's just see here. There's the share link, and you should be able to just hand that right into me. Okay, so you can in Teams, you should be able to copy and paste that link in, and I should just be able to see your code there. Okay, good. So good luck with that. I know it was pretty quick, but hopefully that explanation helps you out, and that you can be successful with this. Let me know if there's any problems, and I'll help you out. All right. Good luck.